Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Now, if you caught the interview earlier this week with Dr. Frank Hollenbeck on Hollenbeck Unleashed, you'll have seen we were talking about European Banking Union, or the potential for a European Banking Union. Of course, if you didn't see that, head to our website and check that out. We had something we needed to talk about, though, at the time. We ran out of time, and this is about deposit insurance, which is an essential part of this idea of a European Banking Union. Frank, tell us a little bit more about deposit insurance, because as I understand, it's there to protect the depositors.
Yes, they want to make deposit insurance European-wide and possibly have the ECB as a backstop. We need to go back when deposit insurance was created. It was created due to the bank runs we had in the 1930s. And a lot of people consider bank runs bad, but I view bank runs as actually being quite good in the sense that it limited commercial banks' ability to create money out of thin air. It also, bank runs were really reflecting the fact that banks were not doing what depositors wanted. In other words, they wanted a deposit and it turned out to be a loan, and that's why we ended up with bank runs. Now, the problem, the way deposit insurance is structured, is that it's not really insurance. It's not like you have money put on the side. It's basically dependent on government's ability to tax, okay? In other words, to cover the deposits if banks were to go bankrupt. That's one of the big problems we have with deposit insurance, very similar to what we have in the FDIC in the United States. Another thing with deposit insurance, it's possible that deposits is something that you can insure. In other words, cars is something that you can insure. In other words, if you crash your car, it's not causing you to crash every car in the United States. The problem with deposits is maybe there's a systemic problem with the characteristic of the product, in the sense that we saw with Lehman Brothers that the collapse of Lehman Brothers led to a complete collapse of the entire system. And we may have the same thing in the case of certain banks, maybe large banks in Europe, failing. It would cause a systemic problem, which would cause deposit insurance to kick in for everyone. And that would just mean printing money, governments printing money, and that would be reducing the value of the deposits. Something
to keep an eye on for the future then. Frank, thanks very much for that update. Thank you. That's all we've got time for that update midweek. We'll be back, though, later during the week for further interviews and, of course, updates. Until then, though, goodbye.